Right. What is it?
Hello everyone, thank you for joining my presentation. It's Innovators. I'm from the Lehman College and I'm working at Houston School of Business and Technology. Before we start, I want to check out how many instructors we have, professors, lecturers, and graduates. All right, so today actually my target audience is instructors, not staff. But staff, welcome to see what we're doing and for teaching. Okay? So basically, the question is that for myself, how to become more strategically lazy and more clever to save my time, right? So as a lecturer, I need to teach 4 courses, 2 in-person, 2 online. But in terms of the fictional, it's a lot, right? But online course is relatively easy to teach because there's avatar, I need to record, so I can be but every semester, there are three things that I need to do. Doesn't matter whether it's online, in person, which is the first thing is that I need to update my syllabus. So this semester is on spring 2026. Upcoming semester is going to be fall 2026, right? Or the summer. So what I need to do is that I need to update the syllabus, the course title, section number, maybe textbook if I update it. Or the main thing is the schedule, tentative schedule. So we have a 15 week for the following semester. And each week I have chapter 1, chapter 2, so on and so forth. Back in the day, if you have a TA, you have asking critical papers, but especially the probable the CUNY is in New York. We have so many holidays from the semester, right? Especially fall. We have a Jewish holiday, a religious holiday, so on and so forth, right? And also we have a system. Some they have to follow the Tuesday schedule, even though it's month, right? That makes me hurry because I need to check the calendar one by one. But then I need to update it. It is a tedious work. It does not give me any pay, just spending time to update the slot, right? So then the question is, how can I use the AI model? That's one. Okay, so everyone is working on the syllabus and we have to update it and we can get some help, the AI. And then the second part is the following. We use a Brightspace, right? And then especially some of you are using the Brightspace exam. Maybe you are taking online class and then you get the online exam. Many of you did the Brightspace exam, or publishers, web financial learning system such as Myla, HPP, okay? Now, the question is that how can it make a question and shuffle the question, clarify the question, because there is a high chance students hear your questions and, answer my, the question number 1, probably you already solved the question. In order to avoid that or to minimize that kind of cheating, we shuffle the question, we write the questions, things like, again, here's a rule that we can use AI, right? Last but not least, after the semester, we have to grade. We have to grade it, but there's no room to use AI, or maybe you can use it for the multiple choice question, right? But then especially the previous post question, I believe I need to grade it one by one and then checking the students' mistake, where they make a mistake, like more than 30% students make the same mistake. It's not their mistake, probably. It's my mistake. It's my fault, right? And then I say, okay, I'm copy my, shifting for the problems. That's the thing I have not used AI model, but after I finish the grading, I need to keep the curve, I need to, keep the letter break, right? There's a rule that I can use the AI model, okay? Because I want to be consistent and fair for every student. For example, I'll add some to my, office hour every week. he's very serious and he's a good student, but he ended up with developing a C plus. But then as a human being, I want to give the P minus, right? So there is like a incentive to do this kind of the unfairness. So I want to avoid that one. Okay. So these are the three parts that are using the AI, and then of course that I'm using the Excel and the Microsoft such as the Word file, things like that. Okay. So I want to share them. So those are the three parts. The first part is a low-rating for schedules. So the scenario is really up to the syllabus and semester. And using the AI, you can put your click. Okay. And then the second part is that making very basic exam. You basically have the word file of the exam, and then you print this word files to the ChatGPT or the Gemini. Then you're gonna have the CSV file to upload your price based exam. And then the last one is the automated rating and type system. Okay, so those are the three parts. Let me go to the first one, the automating course scheduler. So, like I said, we are in uni in a CUNY space calendar. So what I'm doing is that I download fall 2026 academic calendar, and then I have a 2026 spring semester schedule, and I update it. Okay. So for the calendar, we have to do it man, but it's just higher function report. And then put that for maybe Monday, or we call the better or various holidays, then truly follow the conversion dates. Okay. Sometimes the students, tell me, oh, professor, the next week, do we have a class on Monday because it follows Tuesday schedule? And then I realized, oh, shit. I had to let them know first, but they let me know. Okay, so that's the problem. So I don't want to have that kind of amateur mistake as an instructor anymore. So that's why I decided, let me use AI model my assistant. Okay. So here's, for example, my schedule. So this is this semester, and this is the period for 8 corporate plans. I personally prefer this kind of a shape. First one is the dates, and then we have the topics, and I took the chapters. The reason that I took the chapters, even though it's at the chapter 2, for this, these first midterm covers chapter 2 to 6. Okay. Then students get to know, oh, this is the schedule. This is what I need to bring there, or I need to go over to pick the read. Okay. And then as you can see, I manually, I used to manually check the calendar, put up my iPhone calendar, or whether it's holiday or not. And then I, put up the dates here. Okay. Now I check the limit academic calendar and my iPhone calendar at the same time and update it with the follows. But I hit it with the AI, but then I noticed the problem. So every semester, every course, I'm doing the same work. This is the limited report, right? Isn't it? But then one day I finished with the finance. The ChatGPT is, this is me calculate and it gives me the perfect work. On the other day, all of a sudden it gives me shit. No. I asked the same question, but all of a sudden it gives me the different format. Then I thought that was lying. I asked the same question, but why it giving me a different answer, different format? Then I thought that, probably there is a better way to do this because I'm gonna do it in the following semester and do it in 1 year or 2 years from so forth. And then I asked ChatGPT and the Gemini, okay, let's figure it out. Okay. The answer is, maybe some of you have already did it, is here, AI script. So I made this form with the ChatGPT and Gemini together. Right? But so after Lehman College assistant, I will pay my the bracket is that you can customize it for each semester. Schedule for 2026. And these are the parameters schedule you have to be very thorough. So class days, and this is course Monday, Wednesday. And then I'm sorry here, August 25th. You guys probably know what it is, right? My first class is a Monday, August 31st, and then we'll kind of double check. And then I reveal it out of the guys. Here. I'm gonna share. So here, we go to open the Lehman College. We have to follow the Lehman College academic calendar, right? That one. And then identify as all that one holiday, the religious holidays. That's the CUNY system, not the private schools. And then the conversion rates. Those are the important problems. Okay. And then the class is met my previous, so I actually need to fit the previous semester syllabus. And then by upload a table for Excel, and then they has 3 columns, dates, topics, and chapters. That's by figuring, the style of the table. You can change it. And then the topic list is the thing that you have to fit the previous semester's schedule, the theme. And you just need to copy and paste. And what happened is, boom, automatically updated. But I even asked actually whether it's Monday and Wednesday. Okay. But it comes out, we get to the perfect word. And then I double check. It turns out, what is it? There is no September 7th. Monday. Do you know what it is? Labor Day. Perfect. It's working. So now I save my time. And then I don't need to worry about what should I ask. I just need to copy and paste the exact same thing, updated some parts. Good or bad? The bad one. I'll make it some other cards you have to update that you can make his, script and you can reuse it. Yeah, but the plot you showed on the previous slide, you just copy things like that. Yeah, I just drag, copy and paste, but update the bracket part. Okay, yeah, that's it. And I did it many times and it's working. Yeah.
There's the asterisks and always moving visualize.
No, actually, I didn't make. Yeah. What was it?
Is it relevant? No, even check for me that.
No, the Jenga and Chat, they work together and they gave me this format. So you may want to get rid of it, but I don't think that that's a big deal.
Okay.
So can you put that the Zoom thing down on high because it's kind of blonde, so we start.
Yeah, sure. So this one.
So basically, you can make it all high. So if I put it more, then you can put as auto high the.
This one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, compare that.
Yeah. So yes. Now we can see the bottom of your.
Hey, this is not my computer. I'm a Mac client. This is the it also. That's my is too. That was cool. All right, then let me go to the second part. Price space is there. So I'm at the Lehman College. We have a many low income families. They can afford the $100 cents. So there. But as an instructor, I have a free access to the peers and everything. It's a free for me. And I can even download the question banks for free. Of course, there is a copy one. But then what I can do is, I download all the questions and ask the Gemini and ChatGPT. I don't want to have an issue of the any copyright. Characterize the questions and give it that to me. And then I'm making the price space. Okay? It's free. Now I'm on very nice, generous buy to my students. Okay? And he saved my $100. All right. So the mode is we're gonna make the price space exact, but there is a format. And this is the one thing that I work on like many hours because every single time I ask the question, it does not give me the what I want. And so that's why I made a perfect script for that. So let me show you the example first. Here. So this is my whole file example. So these are the questions, multiple choice question, and I let the answer with the display. So this is the blank question, and when you convert into the CSV file, it has to play a poet here. Okay? So question, and then options are like the following, but this one is the right answer. It gives the 100. This is the correct answer. And then once you put this one onto the bright space exact, when skills solve the question, they automatically break. So we can stay here. That's a benefit. But there's a limitation when you give the pre-response question. So I don't know. I never use price space as for the alpha Q, but multiple choice question working perfectly. And I can make thousands of the different versions of these questions, replace it, and then change the order, things like that. That's also the easiest work for this easily done with the data. But then the next thing is that when I convert this question into this format, has to be the following. I mean, we are using the price space, right? they requires you a specific form. And when you go to the Brightspace, and then there's an help center about this Brightspace season, they give you the exact same format. So what I used to do is that I give the format, convert this one into that form, right? But it doesn't keep in the answer right away. It takes a couple of steps, go back and forth, and then finally I end up with this format, and then I want to check it. So then basically what I did is that, okay, so this is perfect, and this is exactly what I want. And I'm gonna do the same thing for the different course or the next semester, right? And I don't want to have the conversation like this because it takes too much time, in the spirit. That's what I did. And then this Gemini and ChatGPT, they did the same thing. So now act as an instructional designer. And then I'm catching the CSV file, the format, the sample CSV file. And then it's a task to have the 3 columns. And then press space key. And then these are the things, the same thing. Okay? And then here you put the question. You just need to copy and paste your board files or the exam questions, multiple choice question, and boom, it begins. You got the plumber. Any question? There.
Questions that you're using are those the one provided by peers or your own question?
It's complicated. So for example, this one is our department's final exam. So we share our final exam for an exam to minimize the gap of course sections. And then we nail questions together. All instructors we get together and we apply them there. They pick up the maybe Pearson or maybe different solutions. But my point is that you can download the questions from the Pearson or wherever and then do it the same. And then here, this is the last part. The grading and hard intelligence. So it depends on the course, depends on the topics, whether it's in person or online. Personally, I have a different perfect system. So online, I don't want to give the cert because we all know that it's an open book. Okay? Fully open book. There's no way to control. Maybe you can use some system and control their environment. So checking their eyeballs, sound check, things like that. But as you may know, that if we are at CUNY, so which means during the COVID, in the beginning of the COVID-19, I used to teach at NYU and the Fordham University. Students open their camera and they are living in a fancy house. But CUNY, I have a couple of students. They say that I'm not sure whether it's correct, but they are saying that I'm homeless. I have no place. I don't want to open my camera. So that's why the CUNY blocks. CUNY doesn't want us to force our students to open the camera. The same thing. So there is a limitation to have that kind of system, offering the system. Okay. So that's why I don't want to give the permit. But in person is different. Okay? Because of basically the closed book. So I'm using the different permit system. But at the end of the day, what you're gonna do is the following. You're gonna collect the attendance, a homework score, the exam score, and everything, put it together, and then you find the total score. You give the weight. Attendance is 5%, the exam is 20%, so on and so forth, right? And then you're gonna have the total score. And based on that, using the Lehman College or the other college grading system, 89.9, E plus, 90.00, A minus, so on and so forth, right? And that part is the keys. So what I'm doing is the following. Here, same thing. I have an AI student. So act as an academic data analysis, but you can shade that part. Okay. And then I have in my Excel spreadsheet, I have the attendance score, homework score, weekend score, and final. You may have a more or less. Okay? And then I get the weights. Attendance 5%, total score 20%, due to 30%, finance 40%. Now, here's the thing that I can shoot. The first one, the consistency boost. Is student at 100% in both attendance and homework. Oh, he or she is serious. He want to get the sport. So he comes to the school every day, and then he did all the homework. Then I lead the last of the period, 5% bonus. I don't know whether you have a great but in my case, I think I really deserve to get 5% because he's serious. Okay? Now, the second part, this is my main the improvement bridge. I don't personally, prefer to give the accepted work. It's not fair for me. Because usually the students got the B or B plus, they want to get the accepted work. And the students who got the C or something, they don't actually care them much. They just want to get the S. So that is not fair system. So what I decided, okay, so students want to get a good score at the end of the day, you just need to show me if you messed up the midterm, you better get a good score in the final. So I'm giving them the incentive, okay, hey there, study hard and get it at a score. So that's what I do this way. If the final score is higher than the midterm, I calculate the difference. Let's say the midterm score is 50, final score is 100. And then the difference is 50 points, right? And then I divide it by 2 and I put it into the midterm. So that his midterm score is now the 75 at least. So everyone has an incentive to study hard by the end of the semester. Because you probably always said, after the first midterm, he messed up, first midterm, oh, there's no chance that I get an A. I don't know how to do that. These are, well, they don't come to your classroom, they just want to get the exit grade. To avoid that situation, I, introduce this curve system. And then the lower and the highest grade. So, for example, you compare the average score is below the 70, then you get the like some, points for everyone, things like that. So you can choose which curve you're gonna use. And then you give the original score. Then it will automatically calculate the curve score and the total score. Curve score, we know curve score. And then you can decide, okay, based on that, it's reasonable, then I'm gonna give the A, B, something. So those are the 3 things that I was able to save my time. So in terms of the teaching side, there's not that much rules. And so I need to study, I need to come up with a better lecture, things like that. There's no room to save my time that much. But these things, I can save the tons of time. So that's why now I'm teaching 5 courses. 5 courses, and you can check my the evaluation. I'm the one of the best evaluators, the instructor. So I save my time for this kind of the administrative work, and I put more time is like this. And then I'm trying to be very fair to count the grading and give the last score very in every look. So it's just, I'm not giving you the answer. I'm sharing my tip, how I save my time. And then one more thing is that because I'm teaching the economics, finance, and data analytics course, I told my students, you know what, I have a daughter and she's a 2nd grade. And she's, practicing plus minus multiplication, things like that. I let her do it as much as she can do. I don't let her use the calculator. And then I told my students, you guys are same. You study the core, you study it from the macros. At the end of the day, you're going to use the AI, but not in my class. Especially when you prepare the exam or when you're solving the homework question. As a backup, you can double check your answer with the AI, but once you get used to it, using the AI, you're going to boost your skills. You don't learn anything from my course. And then one more thing that I want to share with my students. I had a couple of big colleagues who's working at a field at a JK Morgan, things like that, and they shared the story. They said one guy from the East Coast, very good university, and then high GPA, and they asked the basic question, what is a descriptive statistics? And then he didn't answer the question. That tells you, this guy using the AI, and then he got the very good GPA, he doesn't know anything about. We don't want to share, we don't want to hire them. Excel is the same. They ask very basic questions of the Excel and they don't answer them. Even though he got the Excel certificate. All right, so that's my story. Any question? Yes.
Do you have the output from this shows?
Oh, I will not here, but I can share. This is the stuff.
Yes, I have to say how impressive it is what you did, because creating with the right space in a curve is really bearable. if you don't do the category correctly, the whole system implodes. I was trying to do a lot of that would be crazy person.
Yeah, no.
Do you tell your students the curve, like to motivate them to work more towards?
Yeah, I specify in the syllabus how this is the curved system. So then everyone agrees. But of course, even though I did that, every time they ask me to have the accepting, and then I said, so just give me the better score.
I use the weighted average
Uh-huh.
for the start sheet. I just have to put the formula in once,
Yeah.
copy there,
Mhm.
and then in addition, I let students get extra credit. If they will do a particular chapter, would do something extra and explain it
Mhm.
to the class, not just do it. So that's used to work.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can add one more column as an except for this score. Yeah. Then
Give them a second copy of
yeah.
just stay on the course detail. That takes me 5 hours to
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You better get the request on personal account because the king account is not putting the Google.
Oh really?
But I mean, I sent it to you from my
Yeah, this is a Google Drive file. So
We're not in Google.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, you send it.
Something. If I know what it is.
That's a permission setting. Yeah, adding more thing up. Yeah, easy to quit this. Oh yeah, on your slide then I didn't even think you're upgradable.
So that first is
Yeah, anyone with the link now you can download this or you like that. And that's it. So any question? Yeah.